On tonight's CTV News, Mayor Leanne Dalzell announces plans for a new Central City Library. A restructure puts jobs on the line at the City Council, and earthquake repairs may have worsened the risk of flooding on Fitzgerald Avenue. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell has announced the City Council is launching plans to develop a new library for the central city, but she wants ratepayers to help develop the idea further. Mayor Dalzell made the announcement on CTV's current affairs show, Lynched. The Mayor's interview will air Monday night, but for now, here's Marcus Gibbs with a sneak preview.
Out of all the anchor projects, the Christchurch City Council's leading design work on just two. They include the Performing Arts Precinct and the city's new $89 million Central City Library. Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell has announced the public will have a hand in designing the library fronting Cathedral Square.
We're in charge of that. That is something that we're leading for the city, and we want the city to be involved in what it's like.
Over the next few months, residents and library users will get the chance to have a say about the sorts of services they would like the new library to offer.
We're going to be asking people what they want in their library, and this is a different way of consultation and almost like collaboration. It's a wee bit like share an idea.
The Christchurch City Council will fund $60 million of the anchor project. The remainder will be funded by the Crown. The old Gloucester Street Library will be replaced by a new convention centre. Two temporary central libraries in Manchester and Peterborough Streets will continue to serve the inner city until the new central library opens in 2017. Mayor Dalzell says these libraries are some of the city's most important assets.
The usage of our library in the central city was extraordinary, and of course we have free Wi-Fi, we have all of the access to computers, so people are able to access online even though they may not be online at home. So it has this tremendous potential.
The Mayor wants it to be the flagship of the city's libraries, but it may not look like a traditional one. The council plans to create a truly inspirational place that Christchurch people feel is theirs.
And it's not so much around the design, it's what does it contain? Because a library today is quite different from a library when I grew up.
The City Council plans to have displays in suburban libraries, and there will be opportunities for feedback on the Christchurch City Library's website. But while the City Council is feeling confident for these plans, the design of the Performing Arts Precinct won't be so easy.
I'm a little disappointed to find out that we've got a Forsyth bar building casting a shadow in literal and
I'll go there with a hammer and let's bring that building down. I'm sick of that building being there, aren't you?
But that's the point. It really does it does present another challenge.
Construction of the Performing Arts Precinct will start later this year and is due to be completed by the end of 2016. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Christchurch City Council is on high alert, ready for the heavy rain set to hit over the weekend. The Met Service say the storm won't hit Canterbury as hard as last week's storm, but Mayor Leanne Dalzell isn't taking her chances.
Last week's storm was labelled a once-in-a-century event, but what's about to hit over the weekend isn't set to be as bad. The storm will come from the tail of tropical cyclone Lucy, expected to hit the North Island in the coming hours.
It doesn't look like as much compared to the other storm, but we've already had so much rain that the ground is sodden. So, we're looking at some areas that could see between 20 and perhaps 50 millimetres of rain across parts of Canterbury.
But the Christchurch City Council aren't taking their chances.
So we're preparing ourselves for what could happen over this weekend, and we're working on a worst case scenario. We've very much taken the view after the situation that affected our city last week that we'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared.
The Christchurch City Council held a briefing this afternoon. Mayor Leanne Dalzell says they're liaising with the Army to secure extra resources should they be needed.
Sandbags are going to be available at key locations across the city where flooding is a known risk.
Last week, Carrick Street was one of the worst hit areas in Christchurch. Many of those residents forced to shut the doors on their flood-damaged homes forever. But just over on Spate Street, residents are hoping they won't get hit as hard as last time.
Thankfully my carpets are pulled up. I've just sort of re-dried my house out we just hope that it doesn't happen. At least hopefully it won't flood through the house, I hope.
The Met Service are expecting high winds with a risk of flooding, expected to hit in the early hours of Sunday morning.
it's obviously not a weekend for outdoor plans in places, but of course some parts, particularly northern and eastern areas, could really be under the gun and may need to batten down the hatches.
Emma Cropper, CTV News.
The Christchurch City Council says designs for Fitzgerald Avenue earthquake repairs didn't include flood modelling. They say this potentially increased the risk of flooding.
The Opus designed Downer-constructed road repairs to Fitzgerald Avenue won a National Infrastructure Award last year. Council Transport and Green Space Unit Manager John Mackey says the repair was among the city's first earthquake rebuild roading projects when work began in April 2011 and the route needed to be opened urgently. At the time, no flood modelling had been done, and the aim was to open the important arterial road to traffic while increasing its ability to withstand lateral spreading in any future earthquakes. The Council Transport and Green Space Unit says it was a time of uncertainty, with ongoing earthquakes and changing ground levels. Decisions around land zoning hadn't been made for the area of the houses to the east of the road. On the western side, between the road and the river, the original wall had a solid safety barrier on top. The design for a new wall instead used an open metal crash barrier on top to improve visibility of pedestrians and cyclists on the path below the road. The unit manager says unfortunately this allows water through and doesn't provide the same protection as the previous barrier. The council is working with SCIRT to find the best methods of reinstating the initial flood protection.
A restructure at the Christchurch City Council means jobs are on the line. Staff are worried at the prospect of losing their jobs.
Jobs could be about to go for staff working in 6 departments at the Christchurch City Council. Council Acting Chief Executive Jane Parfitt has confirmed to the press that staff are being consulted about a restructuring proposal that could result in some losing their jobs. The affected staff work in the communications, marketing, civil defence and emergency management, elected member services and international relations teams. One staff member spoke to CTV News on Wednesday after receiving news her job could be cut. She was disappointed at the thought of leaving the job she loved. Despite hearing it from staff, the Christchurch City Council has yet to confirm the restructure to CTV News. But Parfitt has told the press there are provisions for job cuts and provisions for new roles under the proposed restructure. She wouldn't reveal the number of jobs at risk, stressing the restructure is only a proposal at this stage. Parfitt told the press it's not just about the headcount, it's about how the City Council does things. That was in reference to why the Council's cutting down its communications team when the organisation has been heavily criticised for its communication failures in the past. The Acting Chief Executive says nothing's off the table in terms of coming up with the best structure. Parfitt told the press all of the changes were aimed at ensuring the organisation could cope with the demands of Christchurch's $40 billion rebuild. She expected to reach a decision on the final structure of the teams by the end of the month. Councillors have been briefed on the changes proposed.
An Official Information Act request by WeCan has revealed EQC staff has been flagging celebrities as a high priority.
After 10 months, the Earthquake Commission has finally released documents to earthquake group WeCan under the Official Information Act. The file's hundreds of pages thick. Inside a folder containing training for sensitive and vulnerable claims. VIP claims are referred straight to the manager for review and approval. EQC's VIPs include sports stars, celebrities and media personalities. WeCan was shocked by how VIPs have been flagged more important than thousands of other claims.
What we couldn't work out is that why would they flag a VIP which actually had was a sports star or a TV star or a politician. Why would they be flagged in a claim system compared to anybody else?
And it also says folk who have been in the community but have a media profile are more likely to get some kind of privilege position in terms of getting their repairs done. So, you know, that's to me, that's outrageous.
The document advises EQC staff to collect any information possible to flag the file and send it to the manager for review. Former WeCan spokesman and EQC critic Mike Coleman says the documents confirm the group's worst fears.
We have heard that some of these things have been happening. We'd never want to name anyone because it's not their fault that it's happened. But for some reason, EQC has wanted to dumb down VIPs and dumb down anyone that's been in the media. So they've been more likely to get their situation sorted than other people.
At the end of February, there were more than 4,000 vulnerable Cantabrians still waiting for EQC to repair their homes. WeCan fears hundreds of residents will be waiting for several years before the list is cleared.
Any delay that EQC have with dealing with the most vulnerable means that their whole claim is left for years and years, and that's what we've already seen here now.
EQC National Customer and Claims Manager Gail Kettle has told media the sensitive categories in the training material were to help track vulnerable claims. She says no specific activity has been triggered by a file being red flagged. She went on to say VIP flags were only in case they became useful in future. The high-profile flag has been marked 36 times for claims between 2010 and 2011. Kettle says settlement isn't complete on 16 of the claims, while another 10 are open and waiting on work to be completed. But WeCan can't understand why the VIP category was created if the claimants weren't given preferred treatment. Mike Coleman was volunteering at WeCan during the time of the original request. He's glad the group finally has the information and can hold the Earthquake Commission to account.
EQC needed to be transparent. They weren't willing to come themselves and be transparent, so we had to do the OAA in order to kind of get them to release enough information to show what was going on.
WeCan staff still have hundreds of pages of data to pore through, and the organisation is expecting to bring more of it to light over the next few weeks. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Ellerslie International Flower Show was hoping to draw larger crowds than last year, but final numbers show that may have been harder than first thought.
It was hoped more exhibits would bring more people through the gates.
It was really clear from the visitor comments last year that they wanted to see more gardens, and we've done everything we can to fit them in, and it's been a bit tight on space, but yeah, we've done it. I think people will be pleased.
The event has been met by controversy since the Christchurch City Council purchased the show for $3 million back in 2007. The first show in 2009 made over a $200,000 profit, selling 75,000 tickets. But that hype didn't last long. Last year's show sold just over 44,000 tickets and made a $325,000 loss. Organisers this year were hopeful. By lifting the standard of the event, it would attract more people, and by opening day, things were looking positive.
Every indication is so far that the numbers should be an increase on last year. I'm pitching for 5,000 but hoping for more.
And the public seemed happy with the changes made.
Yeah, it's been lovely so far. It's better, it's nicer. We've been every year.
But final ticket sales haven't reflected the work put in by organisers to lift the show's standard. 45,000 people attended the show. That's just 1,000 more than last year. But the Christchurch City Council isn't too worried. They believe the show has the opportunity to become one of the best in the world.
The plan has always been for the show to establish itself in the top 5 flower shows in the world, and I'm sure that's still where we want to get to.
The show's future remains in the hands of the council, who will meet within the next 10 weeks to review what happens next. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Coming up, Arthur's Pass celebrates its 150th birthday this weekend.
Let's face it, everyone has an agenda. And guess what? So do I. Every week, I'll pick 3 stories that grab my attention. Agenda with me, Brent Goff.
At Lamb & Haywood, we're committed to providing you with the very best environment at your time of greatest need. You can choose from the best facilities in Canterbury, our recently refurbished West Park Chapel, the Kerrs Road Chapel in Eastern Christchurch, or perhaps Waimana Chapel in Rangiora. However you remember, commemorate or celebrate the life of your loved one, whether it's an intimate group or a grand send-off, the choice is yours. Lamb & Haywood, a tradition of caring.
Hurst Auto Dismantlers, your one-stop shop for all your mechanical and car part needs. Our huge premises boasts a large selection of mechanical parts, panels, tyres and glass. Most makes and models are available on site, and if we don't have it, our trusted staff will do their best to source what you need locally and nationwide. So come in and see the team, or just give us a call and save time and money. Hurst Auto Dismantlers, 343 0099.
Ready to go, mate? Flight leaves at 4:30.
Relax, mate. We'll park at Air Park Canterbury.
Air Park Canterbury, privately owned and operated with a free 24/7 shuttle service. Call 0800 Air Park or book online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
Christchurch has its very own enchanted utopia, the Hitching Post. Pop in and see for yourself. A magical assortment of handmade creations, custom-made candles and artwork. Choose from our huge range of water features, garden art and imported giftware. Specialists in handcrafted metal artwork made in store. Nestled on 722 Marshlands Road. The Hitching Post, defining art our way.
Al Jazeera News, international news right off the satellite, bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage of world events. Al Jazeera News, weekday mornings at 6 o'clock, right here on CTV.
Arthur's Pass celebrates its 150th birthday this weekend, with festivities starting tomorrow. The weekend marks the centenary and a half since the first European discovery of the pass. Patrick Phelps reports.
Arthur's Pass, named after European discoverer Arthur Dudley Dobson, a former Christ College student. It's been a support village for travellers ever since gold was discovered on the South Island's west coast. These days it's used for tourists and coast-to-coast competitors, and anyone else with a love of the outdoors. This weekend, it's 150 years old. The Department of Conservation say there's a big weekend planned for the village. The events start at 5 tomorrow evening. Then the main events for the weekend kick off on Saturday.
On Saturday, we're starting with a historic walk around the village, led by John Childs, who's been here for 50 years and knows the place inside out. And that will be followed by the big event really for the weekend, which is the opening of our new Arthur's Pass walking track, which links the village to the top of the pass.
The historic walks will be through a village which, though small, has historical significance.
When it was opened, a pretty important link for Canterbury and Westland for the development of both those provinces, and of course associated with the discovery of gold at Hokitika, and that's why Arthur's Pass was opened up in between 1864 and 1866.
A Kia statue will also be unveiled, as the bird is a local icon. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
A local business is enjoying its new home at the tannery in Woolston. Bolt of Cloth makes their products in their Woolston workshop, along with other workshops around the city.
Bolt of Cloth have been operating here at the tannery for just 1 week now. Owner Susanna Tanasha says so far so good. The facility had a big pull.
We needed somewhere for our warehousing and to run our internet business from, and one of the things that attracted us to the tannery was that we could have that here and also have a retail environment. And it's also really nice as a business to be in a community of like-minded businesses again, and to have places to go get a coffee during the breaks.
They get the fabrics from home and abroad, but make the products here.
On the site we make cushion covers, canvases, wall hangings, squabs, and things like that.
As often as possible, they support New Zealand and Australian designers and material suppliers, but also source material from Finland, the United States and Japan. Susanna Tanasha says there are many advantages to making their product locally.
We like to make it in-house for lots of reasons, one of which is quality and speed. We can control when it's done and how it's done, but we've also got great partners within Christchurch who make things for us as well.
The shop owner says as they sell lots of things in small quantities, it pays to have control that only comes with doing it yourself.
You can make what you need as you need it. You can look at it really quickly. You can do things very fast. You don't have to wait for it to come in from offshore.
Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
Still to come, we have the business, traffic and weather updates.
Arts 21 showcases the vast creative talent and minds that are making a name for themselves in Europe and beyond. Think outside the square with Arts 21. Monday morning at 10:30.
Our new companion package is a personalised service for those that need extra help and support. A cost-effective solution for someone who needs more than just a taxi driver. Our drivers are handpicked from our experienced team and specialise in providing the right support and companionship. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Carpet Kingdom. At Carpet Kingdom we stock a massive range of carpets and we're also the largest vinyl stockist in the South Island. And not only do we have an excellent range in store, but you can purchase our stock online. We offer free measuring quotes, we have our own installation team, we ship nationwide, so come on down and see us at Carpet Kingdom. 312 Wilsons Road in Waltham, just off Brougham Street, or visit us online at carpetkingdom.co.nz.
Avoid the cowboys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Join me tonight as I talk to the influential people in and around Canterbury and take a look at what's going on in our community. Tonight at 10, Canterbury Live.
Well, it's been confirmed the OCR, the official cash rate, has gone up 25 points. That was announced by the Governor of the Reserve Bank today. With more about that and other business news, here's Warren Head.
Hi, I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. As expected, our central bank today lifted interest rates slightly. By that I mean about 25 basis points to 2.75% from 2.5. Now, what that means is the start of a gradual increase in these central interest rates over the next year or so. The loan-to-value ratios that the bank brought in several months back now are starting to take effect and moderate housing prices, although you might not think so. In Christchurch, we were starting to get valuations that seem extremely high compared to where we previously were. What it also means, of course, is that this curve is very much dependent upon now how the market reacts, and we could see interest rates up reasonably significantly over the next year. So I'm pricing things at home, factoring in the cost of insurance and what that valuation means in terms of possibly the rates coming through. You better take into account now that the mortgage is going to cost a little bit more progressively throughout the next 12 months or so. One of the things that's occurring is that our export demand is very strong, the momentum is very good, and in that context I note that one of our city's biggest employers, the dairy rubberware company Skellerup, has received the insurance payments from their damaged factory in Bromley. About $30 million all up, netting out to about $23 million, and that will cover the $20 million cost of a new factory out on the western side of the city, where they'll be making dairy liners and rubber lines for the farming community. One of their biggest stock areas and quite important in terms of the employment shifting across from the east to the west. And it looks like the factory is going to be about the same size, so presumably the job numbers should also be about level. On the technology front, one of the things that caught my eye was Wynyard, the very exciting financial crime-busting software, doing deals over the last several weeks, raising money today, gone to the market for about another $35 million to drive export sales. And a compelling thing came out in their releases. They noted that there are about 30 to 40,000 mobile devices per 10 million people that are seized by policing agencies around the world each year in their fight against crime. Now, in New York alone, that would mean about 50,000 devices processed each year. And what are they looking for? They're looking for details on the apps on smartphones. They're looking at GPS devices, SIM cards, media cards, and they process it all together to try and bust the crime networks, the cybercrime networks that are now very much the target of police forces everywhere around the world. very interesting for police officers charged with solving and preventing crime and frontline officers getting used to this captured data. Well, you may have views on Big Brother and all those things, but on the other side, these guys are there to beat the criminals. So I guess on net basis, it's a good development overall. I'm Warren Head for headliner.co.nz.
I was in the central city earlier this week attending a media briefing at the City Council on the natural hazards chapter of the district plan. And I was very grateful that here on the channel we do screen traffic updates because it enabled the media editor, Jackie Shrimpton, and myself to plan our travel with minimal disruption and even find a park right next door to the City Council. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to pay a lot of attention and watch CTV's traffic update so it can assist you navigating the repairs taking place in the central city.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's an update on what's happening with the roads. Barbados Street is down to one lane and remains slow from Litchfield Street to Morehouse Ave. Fitzgerald Avenue is the best route for southbound traffic now work on the bridge has been completed. Montreal Street is a good northbound route through the central city. Did you know, for those travellers wanting to access Papanui Road from Montreal Street, it's quicker to take Montreal Street to Beeley Avenue and turn right at the lights. This moves traffic faster than waiting to turn down Victoria Street. You can also access Victoria Street by turning left at the lights. Stay tuned this week for more updates on what's happening with the central city roads, and in the meantime visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
And don't forget that the traffic updates also screen on this channel at 7, 8, 9 in the morning and then again at midday lunchtime. And finally tonight, your regional weather.
Kia ora everyone. Well, a large anticyclone still covers the Tasman Sea and most of New Zealand, but it is weakening as a tropical depression spins up north of New Zealand. Now for the weather in your area. Kaikoura, mostly fine and sunny with scattered high cloud and northeasterly winds for you. Tonight you'll receive a low of 12 degrees and tomorrow a high of 21. Hanma, looking fine and sunny with high cloud later on with light easterly winds. Tomorrow's low 8 degrees, tomorrow's high a warm 24 degrees. Some low cloud at first for Rangiora and Kaipoi, but mostly fine and sunny for the remainder of your Friday, with northeasterlies developing. Tonight's low 12, tomorrow's high 21. Christchurch, you will have fog or low cloud patches tonight, but clearing to a mostly sunny day tomorrow, with light to moderate northeasterly winds. Tonight's low 12, tomorrow's high 21 degrees. Some low cloud at first, but mostly fine in Ashburton. Sunny during the day with northeasterlies developing. Tonight's low 12 degrees, tomorrow's high 22. Timaru, expect an overnight low of 12 tonight, but mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with scattered high cloud and northeasterly winds with a high of 21 expected. In other areas now, some cloud in the morning for Darfield, Methven, Akaroa and Leeston, but by the afternoon everywhere can look forward to a fine afternoon, with temperatures sitting in the low 20s. And looking ahead for Canterbury, high cloud thickening and lowering on Saturday with some drizzle or light rain developing at night with moderate northeasterly winds. Cloudy on Sunday with periods of rain, some heavy falls possible during the afternoon. Gusty easterly winds may be strong to gale force around the middle of the day, but tending northerly and decreasing during the afternoon. And rain is expected to clear by evening. That's your weather outlook for Friday. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.
That's CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.